welcome to Chip of Optimism, which is being presented by me, myself, Numrah Zafar. So let's check first at who is Numrah. So myself, Numrah Zafar, I'm a speaker, I'm a mentor, and within myself, I'm an agelist. So far my working experience in IT industry is 6 years, and I have the exposure of software quality assurance engineer, Salesforce business consultant, and beside that, the most enjoyable role that I'm enjoying right now is of Scrum Master at Sastatica.pk. I have done my certain certifications in regards of Scrum and Agile courses. And thanks to Pakistan Agile Education and Scrum Alliance for providing it to me. And beside that, I'm serving this community, Pakistan Agile Education, as a president of Karachi chapter. So let's move forward. So our topic is mostly about optimism, a chip of optimism. So generally what optimism is about, it's a mental attitude reflecting that belief that the outcome of our input will be positive, will be in our favor. And it is, again, a level of confidence or hopefulness for the success of our result. But we certainly don't know that what is actually optimism is and how it actually derives from. So optimism is actually derived from a Latin word, which is optimum, which means best thing. So when the optimism comes, so it means that when the situations are unbalanced, so that way of thinking in which you are always thinking that whatever the outcome will come, it would be in your favor. It will be in the best outcome that you are going to receive. It's a level of that aspect. So moving towards the next topic, but before that, again, when we talk about optimism, it is something which have a set of emotions. The base actually reflect where the optimism actually comes from. It has, there are different kinds of emotions. And what kind of emotions actually we usually facing is more towards, you can give a subject of positivity. And when the positivity comes, so it will come with a lot of enjoy, happiness, what you are compassionate about, your interest, how creative you are, the most beautiful feeling of love, the courage, the gratitude. So you can see that over here, that image that has been reflecting over here of optimism is getting you that optimism is actually the root. Okay. And then when you water that root with your fun, humor, compassion, it will grow into a beautiful tree. And then with that aspect, you will see a beautiful morning as well, a beautiful. So there are certainties in our life where we actually not start reflecting ourselves with the nature. And what the nature actually told us at that moment, that even after a dark night, we will be facing a morning, right? So this aspect of life, when you start understanding this aspect of life, your nature, you actually understanding the word optimism is about. It's the best thing. So we were talking about the emotions, like optimism is a root, and we need to water it with emotions. So emotions are actually a subjective state of mind, but it have different kind of insights. Like, how could I give you example? Like, for example, if as emotions, I'm feeling upset. Okay, I'm feeling upset. So, and the same person upset, but maybe what is the insight about it, maybe I am feeling upset because I am unable to achieve what I want, and the other person is feeling sad because he was about to meet someone and was unable to meet. So there are different insights. For example, I have to pass my examination, but certainly I don't get the good marks, and the same person who's sitting beside me has given the exam and was not and does not want to get, this is very uncertain, but sometimes it happens that you don't want to have that the admission to that place, and you got that because that was your last option, and you're not certainly happy for it, so you're upset. So both have different insights but have the same output as well. So again, when the emotions are subjective state of mind, so there are chances when people actually give it a combination with mood, like emotions are your mood, but certainly it is not. And I know you people will be quite shocked about it, that how I'm saying that why the mood is different from emotion. So emotion is just a state, it's the simplest state. But when we talk about mood, so mood is a state of mind that predisposes us to react or respond in a certain ways. So when the emotions come, so you come up with different kind of reaction and responses. And when I talk about reaction and responses, again, these two are certainly different from each other. How come? That your heart, if you are actually thinking with your heart, you are going to react. But if you're thinking with your mind, you have a cognitive approach, you have a certain patterns to think about it, and then you come to the outcome. So it is more about the response. So when the optimism comes, it comes with emotions, and when the emotions come, there will be mood, in the mood which you are about to react or response about it. And then moving forward to next, we talk about emotions, but you know what is the actual like evolutionary purpose of emotions? Like if you can see the image, you can see different kind of emotions. Someone is happy, someone is shocked, someone is feeling miserable, someone is being optimistic and hoping for the best, someone is screaming, someone forcefully smiling. So when we study about this evolution, so we live in a society that often has this narrative that emotions are bad, or you can say the emotions need to be controlled. We need to think positive all time, and if you feel bad, having anxiety, feeling anxious or frustrated, and if you're grieving, those emotions are negative. And society is actually demanding us to push these emotions aside, and they want us to avoid to feel them even, because they might be a blocker, because the society may think like that these kind of emotions can create a blocker or hurdle with success or happiness, so on. But I really want to share what I believe, because my belief is totally opposite to that, because our emotions have evolved to help us to actually adapt, to thrive, and being effective with them by understanding the data bring to us actually by these emotions. That is really important, because that kind of data actually help us in moving forward, in a very effective manner. So what I mean by data over here is like our emotions that might don't feel good, like that, as I discussed before, like anxiety, being upset, frustration. So, but our emotions, like what about this data is more commonly, how could I describe that? Like our emotions contain information about things that we care about. Now, how could I describe this kind of data? You guys know really about it. There are two kind of data. One is qualitative and quantitative. So we will be definitely focusing over here on the qualitative, and to having a different kind of patterns for it. So like if you are bored at work, so in actual it gives signal that you value learning, and currently your work isn't serving that. Okay, this is one example. If I can highlight another example, like as a parent, sometimes we feel guilty that we are unable to give our times to kids, because we are thriving through different struggles, to actually we are fulfilling the needs of our family, of our kids, and in order to make them, or to have the happiness around them. So as a parent, we feel guilty, and that we are unable to give our kids an ample of time or quality time. So actually it gives signal that you value their presence and their connectedness with you, and like you don't have enough of it in your life currently. So when you understand emotions and the value that are being signaled by them, it helps us to adapt, and this is actually a data part. And now let's talk about the non-directive part. Is that, of course, if you are bored at work, it doesn't mean to go and give to the notice. Like, I don't want to work, I'm giving the notice. And even if you are being guilty as a parent, doesn't mean that you are a bad parent. Because as human, we require skills. And these skills are sometimes very critical in complex and challenge time. And these skills actually help us to connect with ourselves in a way that help us to be our best. And when you talk about non-derivative data, is like a one idea that help us to bring ourselves forward. So you don't have to go or try for anything towards a reaction. You need to work on this. You need to talk about it, why you are receiving these kinds of emotions or signals, that what nature wants you to understand, what nature is actually thriving you to understand the value of it. Like if we start a company, so we always talk about it, what is the value input or what is the value output, that if you're giving an input, what is the value outcome of it. So the value is that aspect that we need to thrive for. We need to understand those signals. If we are losing job, it doesn't mean that's totally fine. This happens. You need to take things in a very normal way that it happens. I know, because right now the people who are listening to me right now can say me that maybe I never passed through this situation of losing a job. Trust me, I feel that. I have been through it as well. But definitely my insights, as I mentioned, for the feelings and their insights, my insights are totally different, because obviously I don't have to feed my family. My family is already self-organized and they are doing their own jobs. They are just managing themselves all alone. So this is separate aspect. So I do understand that when we lose job, we are upset, we are anxious, we have certain fears that what will happen next, what will we doing it. But if at that moment, instead of being panicked or reacting, we thought about it that, okay, if I have lose the job, maybe I'm not, this is not the right place for me. Maybe I have been meant to be somewhere else. Right now, as before starting my session, I have give my introductory part, and I have give you the closure of my experience, that I have the experiences in the quality assurance side as well, in a business consultant as well, and then I moved to the Scrum Master way as well. And trust me, I guess that is my path. If I didn't, if I didn't actually lose those areas of interest in those aspects, though I learned, but definitely I don't have interest. Interest and passion are two different aspects. So because I don't have interest, I was least bothering about that, how things work out or how not things work out. And then I get this opportunity by moving forward, one step forward. If at the first place, if I just got my heart broken, that, oh God, I just lost my job, maybe I'm not a good resource for them. So yeah, we need to accept that, yes, maybe we are not meant to be here. We are not meant to be play the role over here. Maybe something is better for us, and that is a path for us to move forward, to acquire something. Because I think if I didn't lost my job at that stage, I would never be like a Scrum Master. At that moment, I was literally thinking for myself that, oh God, this is this company is heaven, this is in top 10, and I'm so happy. But it is not actually you're being happy, because you're just happy because you think of that place you got over there and you're working. But in actual, you are happy if you are enjoying that work. And trust me, after 6 years, after meeting a lot of people, after changing organization, I realized where I am enjoying and where the things are being changed. So it's all about that, how you connect to yourself. Once you start connecting yourself, you got the understanding of this evolutions of emotions. This evolution, that what you like, what you do not like. And no one forced you to like something, because your likeness depends upon you, and you need to try for your likeness. No one else going to create that likeness for you. You need to create that opportunity. And if you think that every time I just started applying, and I'm getting interviewed, but I'm not getting the successful result. And and maybe in this audience I will got to know about this thing, that you don't understand when you're being rejected, or when you don't get a job. So yeah, I don't understand it. Maybe I just know it. I don't understand it because I don't experience it. Because one of my mentor, just give me that exposure that told me that knowledge is not equal to understanding. So whatever you give me is the knowledge, okay, and I know it because you're giving it to me, but I won't understand it because unless and until I don't thrive through that experience. So if we lose a job, it's fine. It's totally fine. We will get a new job because you have to, the things keep on changing. The things cannot be static. And if the things are static, it's mean that we need to change our pattern of respond or of reaction toward those results to change the result. If you want to change the result, you have to change the way you're giving your input towards it. And this is again the most one of my favorite part that I would love to explain, that nature only give us two things to motivate, and that is one is pleasure and one is pain. And these are two macro level motivators that we have in our life naturally. And if whatever the life give us, pleasure or pain, so it already our choice what to get it from, either a positive aspect or a negative aspect of life. That's totally a choice. But let's talk about that. What about these pleasure and pain? So these are the highly macro level motivators. And what I want people to understand, that if nature gives you two things like pleasure and pain, so why we eliminate half of them? Why most of the people think that life is all about avoiding pain, or avoiding pain, or just expect some people are so chill that the life is throwing shit on them and they're fine, they're totally fine, they're happy. And people will think like they're saying that what happened to you, are you normal? Why things are so going wrong and you're happy, you need to work on this thing or that thing. So we don't need to eliminate anything, we need to actually understand the both aspect, whether it's pleasure or pain. And in this pandemic, I totally understand that the you can say the percentage is higher relatively is of pain. So getting back to the point, that most of the people think that life is about avoiding pain. And in here to tell you right now in a very controlled fashion that it is all about really experiencing the pain and learning from it. I would be definitely reflecting out a very cool equation for which is being given by Ray Dalio. He is actually a successful hedge fund manager, and he has given this equation of life, which is actually how you are going to transform your pain into progress. Like, so if you don't feel pain, you never reflect on it. So, for example, if I'm spending my 70% of time focusing on beautiful and positive things in my life, like my family, my career, my good friends, my genuine friends, and their existence is really a source of happiness to me or pleasure to me. So obviously, the rest of the 30%, or rest of the 30%, I would be facing a dark time, and it is my choice that what I am going to focus more. So I focus my positive aspect more, and that needs to be done in order to avoid the pain. But you cannot avoid the pain 100%. There is an element of some percentage on basis on your priority, that for me it's like 30%. Honestly, I focus on my pains, my dark sides, and I keep on thinking like how to make things, because that pain is going to give you the experience in which you can start understanding instead of knowing. And when you start understanding, it means you have started learning. And in order to learn, then you have to make choice that what outcome you are more preferable to adapt if something happened again. Because life has patterns which keep on repeating, right? And we need to change the strategy of the input in order to get that output. And if you really want to progress, then you really need to reflect on your pain. So since I love the topic of a Scrum, so we always have that part. The Scrum is that framework in adaptability or in Agile software development, that we have the part of reflection, like what we like, what we don't like, and where we have to improve. So if you want to be optimistic in your life, and if you really want to be, get balanced in every situation of happiness or sadness, or whatever, positive and negative. So in order to progress, you really need to reflect your pain, because if you keep focusing on your happy items, there will a certain time come that life give you a kick, and that kick is actually gives you a lot of pain, and that pain is the thing that by hook or by crook you need to reflect on it. And when you start reflecting on it, so you create your do's and don'ts. You create what you did good and what we need to improve. So if you want to progress, so you have to keep thriving the pain, because everything cannot be 100%. And because of such situation, the word optimism has been arise, because this is the root for every emotion in terms of positivity. You don't need to be overconfident, but definitely you need to think about that things will turn out good even if things are bad. Like I gave you an example, if I lost my job, I need to think that maybe there is a place which has been meant for me, and I will get it. But in order to get it, I have to thrive, I have to put my effort. Because if you're feeling sad, doing nothing, being indecisive, being effortless, you are not progressing. You will be keep on complaining, and we really need to avoid complaining. And when I actually listen in my surrounding, like one of my very very good friend, and she has recently lost her job, and she was quite upset. She was quite upset because she was quite, she's quite struggling for a long time for the job and stuff. And whenever she got the job, she has to face some kind of struggle, and then she's about to lose it because of certain insights that I cannot highlight, but it's just an example. So I told her one thing: look, you, if you do not leave this place, so how could you go to the place which is meant for you, which is meant to be? How could you make effort if you keep efforting on the place which is the place which is not valuing you at that moment? So how are you going to achieve that place which is waiting for you? Okay, and the opportunity not keep on waiting. You need to make effort in order to get it, because there is certain time limit, certain span. And because at that moment, when the person who is actually facing the trauma or the uncertainties of life, there are very least chances that they understand you, but they keep on listening you. And when your ear listen, my mother said, when what my mother say to me when I used to give my board examination. So she always say me that, you look, if you're memorizing it, say it loudly, so your ear listen. Because when your ear listen, your brain works, and when your brain works, it will keep repeating in your brain. So this is why I always adapt a nature, that whenever my friends come to me and they just share out to me, I don't say that you know um, everything is fine, you will be positive, and just don't focus on your negative things, focus on, because at that moment we need to take care of that aspect, that people want to be heard. And you need to tell them, you need to give them reason, what are you saying. If you're saying that everything will be fine, how everything will be fine? What should do to make everything fine? Because people want to listen that everything will be fine. We know at certain time, or even if you are breathing, you're fine. Your health is really important, you're fine. But you need to give the reason to the people, when you are actually, when your friends are actually being sharing their heart out about it, that if everything is fine, why it is going to be fine? Because, like, my friend lose a job because you have somewhere, it is already destined, and you need to move out over there, and there is something good is happening. Okay, and if you don't stop feeling about it, how could you make effort to go there? So you need to give that reflection, When the people are sharing their pain, help them in reflecting it, because reflection is the part which help them in moving. And then the most beautiful thing come across us, and that is self-love. So when I'm teaching you about, or speaking about that, you have to reflect and you need to do things and you need to you paint. So there are certain topics that we used to tell people, like there are uh, when we talk in Pakistan or in Asian society, so we listen a lot of abusiveness, and people are facing that abusiveness within families, within friends, within their office circle. They are being abused or demotivated, and what you come across and tell to your friend when they share you about this aspect. Come on, you must have a self-respect. Come on, you should self-love yourself. Don't focus on their negativity. You're telling them, but what they need to do, we need to tell them. And over here, when you talk about self-love, so you really need to tell them that they need to focus on what they are doing right. Okay, when they are showing you that this bad thing is happening, so you need to, we as an individual need to reflect ourselves to the things that we are doing right, because we don't want to make those things effective, or being have any impact of that negative scenario or negative thing that is coming to you by external people. So you need to focus on the what doing right, so in order to be consistent, so that it cannot being affected or being impacted. Then you must have one thing: to cultivate an empowering self narrative. When we talk about self narrative, talk to yourself. Personally, I talk to myself a lot whenever I have to get prepared for the stuff for tomorrow. Like if I'm having a meeting, for example, if I'm having this session, it is not about practicing. It is more about it. Okay, if I get this, you create this situation and scenarios, and then you start reflecting and talking about, do you have a self conversation? Okay, if something going to come across this question, I'm going to answer like this. I need to study this. So this self narrative cultivation is need to be done, because we if you are communicating to the people like this is what you feel, it's good. If they understand, that's good. If they know, it's not good, because you are the one who is the right person to understand this, because you're going through it. So you need to talk to yourself, an honest discussion with yourself. Then earn self-respect by working hard and decision making. So as I was keep on thriving and keep on repeating one word, that being that whatever the outcome come is your choice, whether to whether to take it positive or negative. So decision making, the one who are indecisive and they don't know what to do, and they certainly do opposite what they want to do, so they actually don't love themselves. Trust me, they don't love themselves, because you need to first decide what you want to do, and then you need to work hard, and which actually help you out earning your self-respect. And when I say decision making, it's general, whether it's come to your life, whether it's come to your career, whether it's come to your normal taking normal decision. Do that. Why? Because when you decide something, you work on something, and when you work on something solely, it will help you gain your self-respect. Then communicate at right time and effectively. There are certain things in our life that as in a society we are being taught that if you speak at this moment, what the people will think. You cannot speak this like this. You should be quiet, or don't don't need to reply, no need to respond. But what I have learned, that not speaking on the things just to keep the peace is actually a trauma response. And when you do this, you disrespect yourself, your boundaries as well. And no matter what, keep taking up space and use your voice, but in an effective way. You need to tell, you don't need to, for example, if you need to confront someone, you should talk. look, you did this to me and I feel this. And this is the reason I don't want to talk to you or don't want to, work with you. For example, this example. So this is how you make things effective. The more directive you are, the more effective you are actually start communicating properly at right time as well. So keep this constructive manner, because I know in our society, uh, you know, we think that giving reaction or res- giving response is sometimes it's like that you are being disrespectful. So excuse me. So it is not being disrespectful actually. If you are actually maintaining certain dignity level, you are being respectful, and in a respectful manner you are communicating that you are not liking such thing. So this is not being disrespectful. This mean that you have self respect and you have certain boundaries, and you really want to communicate such things at right time, so that thing that that thing never happen again, or that have at least the least aspect of occurring. So when you actually love yourself, you start being optimistic, because when you are optimistic, you will be focusing what you are doing right. And when you focus on what you are doing right, it's mean that you will on that list you will start evaluating that, okay, if my these aspects are working good, I will be getting my result. And even if when you have a a cultivation of your self narration or self talk with yourself, and then you said, even if it doesn't come up, I'm fine, I will be fine. Why I will be fine with it? Because if I am fine, then I will know how to react and how to respond. And once I determine that, once I start focusing, I start making a proper decision. I start making, I'm not saying a correct decision, I'm saying a proper decision, a worked out decision. And that worked out decision is actually help us to work hard, and it will give us a sense of self respect. This is how you start creating your boundaries. This is start creating about it how you will going to work in your life, how you are planning to follow such kind of a step in order to evaluate that step. And when the things come at the point, there are certainties in society that you have to uh, people are going to say give feedback and give you things like positive and negative. So this is how you communicate at right time and effectively. And when we talk about effectively, it constrains some values like courage, openness, and respect, because the respect is an element which help you out conveying your statement, your thoughts in a very positive manner, in a very productive manner. So we need to take. So when you are being optimistic, so the basic thing that you need to do is self-love. Why? Because your emotions required it. You talk of in emotions, we are talking about love, courage, openness. We are talking about hopefulness. We are talking about faith. We're talking about fun. We're talking about happiness. But in order to get that, you need to satisfy yourself. And when you think that you need satisfaction, so self satisfaction comes with self love. And that's why that optimism is the best thing. Why? Because if you love yourself, that is the best part in your life. Because you need to love yourself. You don't make anyone else love yourself. You love yourself as a professional, as a person, as a helper, as whatever roles you are playing. You need to love yourself. You need to love your profession. You need to love your work, what you're doing, to make sure that your output will be focusing on what the right things are towards us. And here is kind of thing that I am discussing this aspect. And people are coming up and talking about that, having a motivational talk because this is pandemic and people have nothing to do. But actually no, I have put a lot of effort in this stuff. And because I personally in last 3 months, though alhamdulillah I am moving in a very smooth manner, but I feel people around me who actually need it. And if your kind words can help them, you should do that. And don't tell them what they are already feeling. Tell them how can they improve their feeling, or how could they change their feeling from being upset to happy, or motivated, or hopeful. So right now, what I can give you, right, that like if you are being smooth in your life but still you're feeling low, not feeling good, so set a daily intention. Like for me, if you ask me, so what I'm doing, like for I used to have my weekly chart. Actually, I don't set in daily intention, but yeah, in daily intention I have one thing, that what I am going to eat, because food makes me happy. So I set a daily intention that, oh, what I'm going to eat today. There should be something healthy. If I even if I want to have chunks, or what I'm going to have it. So set, even if it's a food, just set an intention. One good intention of a day can brings happiness in you. And then do a daily body scan. So you need to check, like, have an exercise. So body scan is mostly exercise. Like if you can walk, do walk. If you can do 10 push-ups, do it. If you can do yoga, do it. For me, I do yoga for 15 minutes because I really need to meditate myself, to be, get into myself. So tune into your mood is like if you're feeling upset. So, your positive thought at the start of the day, that you're going to do this thing in the day, or you're going to going out, or you're going to play the squash at home, or you are going to have time with your children today. So whatever makes you happy, like that is your daily intention. Then you are having an exercise, yoga, whatever. So this both aspect help you out in tuning your mood. So once your mood is tuned, you can even have a music break. Tuning your mood doesn't depends upon that, you know it is somehow reflecting, take a music break, and then you focus on your breathing. Breathing over here, what breathing is being reflecting is more probably like what steps you're going to take today in order to move, one step by one step, in order to complete your day. And then engage yourself in handwork. Like keep on working. Handwork is like you are working out your whatever you set up the agenda for the day, like what pointers you're going to work out. And it really helps you out in making you out being optimistic. Because one positive thought of the day, one positive intention of the day give you give you a sense of practice. And when we have this kind of practice, so just a food of thought, the mind is just like our muscle. The more you exercise it, the stronger it gets, and the more it can expand. So once you start focusing on the positive things in your life, you will do that. And don't as I mentioned, that one positive things actually help you out in reflecting your pain and to progress. So if you have a larger proportion of positivity, it will definitely help you out in you know give you a different exposure in understanding the pain, and give you a different output. Because if you are totally negative and just focusing on my life is like this, and so you are never going to understand the space that positivity has a very great impact on your progress. And your progress come when you actually reflecting your pain. And when you start reflecting of your pain being positive, it has a very different outcome. It has a very different outcome. Because just if I give you an example, whenever we have to leave our universities or college or high school, so we feel the pain of nostalgic. We feel to have a nostalgia pain, like, oh, things are not going to be same, and ye nahi hoga, wo nahi hoga. But as soon as you get your job, so that positive thing gives you one more essence, like you start reflecting that pain, like you won't be surviving, then you start making up plans. Outcome आपके progress का different हो गया. Okay, we will sit together, we will have parties, at least we will celebrate in our festivals or occasions. So this is how actually things work out. For a progress, you need to reflect your pain. And if we really need a positive outcome, you really need to focus on all those beautiful things that exist in your life. But for that, you need to be, your decision should be a proper one. I'm not saying correct one, I'm saying the proper one, highly constructed. Because the constructed thing always help you lead towards something. If not that, something better. So this is all. And I hope this kind of food of thought will help you out definitely. And whoever join us, thank you so much. And I would love if you have any questions or any feedback for us.
And thank you, Numrah, for taking out the time, and it's very inspirational and very good. Thanks for sharing your experiences as well. And considering the time that we have as a nation and all over the world, uh, this is something a fruit of thought and motivational for many people as well. Because a lot of people, they are facing very hard times due to the uh, job problems, and they have any financial issues. Because I have seen a lot of people, uh, they their business went down, and they were having
True.
very big financial crisis. And it's all over the world, not in only in Pakistan, it's all over the world. So there are different ways that we can help each other, that as a community, as a human, we can help each other by finding the jobs for them, by helping them, by like giving them company in any ways. So that's something that's helpful for us, and I think this is the right time to do such sessions.
Yeah,
And
definitely.
really thank you for conducting this session and having this topic, because I really like this topic. So from the audience, if you'd like to share your comments, or if you would like to share your experience, and you can also give some idea that how we can help in such times. You can share your experience, get out, get up with some idea, like this way that you can work with someone else. And there's a lot of people who are suffering right now all over the world. So we'll talk about Pakistan first. पाकिस्तान के अंदर कितने लोग ऐसे हैं जो कि डिफरेंट इन इश्यूज की वजह से सफ़र कर रहे हैं, एंड उनको मोटिवेट करना, उनको किसी ना किसी तरीके से हेल्प करना, दिस इज़ वेरी मच इम्पोर्टेंट. एंड दिस इज़ वन ऑफ आवर कोर वैल्यू, being this universe in this community. So आप सब लोगों की इसमें input, it's very much needed. And if you see and if you know any person कि जिसको हम किसी ना किसी तरीके से help कर सकते हैं, तो let us know, or you can also help. And for motivation point of view, again, the people who are out of this particular situation, so they are the best people who can help them, who can work with them. So Namra, thanks very much for sharing your experience. Anyone else who would like to share the experience or have any questions? So most welcome.
You're welcome, Mohsin, and I totally agree with your point of view that in this hard time, we really need to help out each other. And if we cannot help out in, in doing something, by like you can say a handwork full of handwork, but if you give someone a kind words, your kind thoughts, to help them out and exploring the stuff in their life, and telling them that everything will be normal and everything will be fine, trust me, that is the most expected part. And like when I was passing through my very hard time, and because I'm a highly positive person, because usually when I have my examination, my mother was usually asking me, go Numrah, study, go and study. And I was like, okay, I will study, don't worry, I will do it. And alhamdulillah, I was never got flunked in my examinations, and overall I'm a good achiever in my marks, because I have certain timings that I will study in this time, and I will I will do it, just leave me. So this is the only thing that I would say, that even if you fail, that's fine. One of my trainer taught me that failing is fashion. I hope, Mohsin, you know this thing, that
A lot of people
okay.
know about it now.
Yes, exactly. And when I always, whenever I listen to that aspect of life, and I say that that's correct, being like, if you're failing, it's fine, it's giving you another chance, another way to adapt a pattern and work on something. Okay, so Hafiz has put up something. Thank you, Furqan and Sami, for your feedback. Basically, I want to know, what is an optimistic view on being inspired over being motivated, or being motivated over being inspired? Okay, so optimistic view on being inspired. Inspired means I am inspired with a lot of people. Okay? I am inspired. For example, if I take, like, I have learned a lot from Mohsen. Trust me, I have learned a lot from Mohsen, and I'm still learning from him. And so the one thing that makes me motivated is the one who I'm working with. Like, if I give you example, I feel motivated with Mohsen because I'm performing something to do, not because I'm creating my thoughts, my aspects into an action. But being inspired, trust me, I'm inspired by, for example, Shah Rukh Khan, the way he works. But obviously, I cannot motivate myself to become an actor. My profession is totally different. I can adopt few things, but he cannot motivate me. The person who actually motivate you, who bring that optimism in your life, is actually help you out in learning those aspects. To keep moving forward, to take action. So that is the thing that you are actually get motivated. And when you are get motivated and you think the outcomes and results in your life, then you automatically, obviously you were inspired, but you get more inspired then. So this is my view. Trust me, this is my view. I don't know about other people what they think. So
I would like to add, first of all, thanks for the kind words, Numrah. And uh, first of all, what I think, inspiration is most of the time that's needed for the motivation, but not always. Like one, for a person to be motivated, he or she can get inspiration from anyone, from their heroes, from their mentors, from their teachers. And sometimes you can be motivated with some of your own goals, and this is something you need to think of. A personality, a person, and a good advice that can inspire you, and that will give you the motivation as well. So we have another person in the call, that who actually inspired me as well, and he is part of our community as well. And I I I know that he can add a lot in this particular subject. So Zishan Amjad, if you would like to add something, sorry to pull you in.
Assalamu alaikum,
welcome,
everyone.
Zishan.
Alaikum salam.
Walaikum assalam.
I was
I
not expecting you pulled me in on the spot.
but I
Actually,
know that you can add much value because you have done a lot of things in this particular area.
thank you for the
Yeah.
kind words, Mohsen. So, uh, actually, all of us are getting inspiration from each other. So, I'm getting the inspiration from this community and the other communities who are doing a really awesome thing for Pakistan. So, yes, we need the inspiration, and we can be the inspiration for the others, and that keeps our morale high, and that keeps us moving forward. Um, that keeps us from looking the same thing from the different point of view. That keeps us turning our problems into the opportunity. Yes, we are in the crisis right now, and even if we see historically that all the big leaders are actually coming from the time of crisis. You cannot become an expert driver just by driving a car on a straight road. This is one of the very famous sentence for the writer who wrote the Alchemist novel. Uh, I, I don't know how to pronounce the name correctly. Maybe you guys can help me.
Paulo Coelho.
Yes, thank you. So this is his sentence, not my sentence, that you cannot become an expert driver by just driving a car on the straight road. So this is an opportunity for all of us to shine. This is an opportunity for all of us to grow, to give something back. So just imagine pretty much like you are in the finale of some sports content, whatever your favorite sports is, and whatever you are performing at that particular moment, that matters the most. That will be in the history, that will be remembered in the memory of the people, no matter how much practice you are doing. So just consider in that way. And this is the moment. and all of us has to shine in this moment. So I hope I'm not sidetracked the conversation. This is such a beautiful talk given by the Numrah. So I hope I pronounced the name correctly. Most of the time, instead of Numrah, I'm calling Nimrah. So
It's
uh,
Numrah, but it's fine. I totally accept
We
that because you are the Ishan Amjad.
we understood who you are calling, so this is perfectly all right.
Yeah.
And thank you, Zishan. And the most important part that since through community and through many other channels, I'm getting a lot of queries and interactions with many people. So this is another important part that we need to understand, that we also need to get in touch with our faith, with our religion. And every solution is already available over there. I have a faith, like if a person having a strong faith can figure out different solutions. So I just want to quote uh, a particular ayat from Quran that specifically it's mentioned over there. और मुश्किल में नमाज और सब्र से मदद लो. That's said by Allah. So Allah की तरफ से खुद ये चीज mentioned है कि आप solutions में किस तरह सब्र, first of all we have to be patient, and namaz is the another thing. So these are the two areas that already mentioned, and how we need to cope with such situations. And furthermore, about like losing jobs, losing someone, your loved one, in such situations, this is also some kind of a bigger challenge in life. I have seen a few of my friends who lost their jobs during COVID. और ये situations हम सब देख रहे हैं, उनकी families के ऊपर एक बहुत बुरा time है. लेकिन the maximum what we can do, being a human, we can help them. It's not necessary we have to come up or show our face, but in somehow, some medium, some resource, we need to help everyone. किसी को अपनी लाइफ का नहीं पता क्या होती है, लेकिन एटलीस्ट जितनी है हम उसमें मैक्सिमम यूटिलाइज कर रहे हैं. And someone mentioned, that's a very good quote, and I religiously follow this quote, and I really like this, that there is no failure in life, but only one: failure to learn. So this is something that if you think losing job or losing anything or getting a failure, that is not a failure until unless you don't learn from it. Not learning from your failure is a failure. Other than there is nothing failure. So I hope that's my few cents on this particular topic. And if anyone else would like to add, most welcome.
I guess the verses from Quran, Mohsin, that you have beautifully explained over here is the showstopper definitely for this webinar. And I guess we all really need to have this kind of faith in ourselves as an individual, to trust with the situation and our flow of life. And I guess that is the only way that we get that sense of adaptability towards the positiveness. I guess this is all from my end, and thank you everyone for joining this. Very soon, Pakistan Agile Education is also bringing up with a new upcoming series, and we will be definitely highlighting you on our page, on our social pages. So stay tuned for that. And since this optimism is mostly for focusing on self-love, so very soon we will be coming up with next topic as well. And for that, you need to be stay tuned with Pakistan Agile Education.
And
Thank you, everyone.
one more thing, that we are conducting many new courses. There's next week we are going for the Certified Scrum Master and Product Owner. There's two courses coming up, and then we are going to launch the coaching series in Pakistan. And that's been already introduced. With the purpose of our community is to help our individuals and to accommodate them on the lowest cost, so they can avail such opportunities. So we'll be launching few coaching courses as well for all of you. And for that, stay tuned with the community. And if anyone would like to participate in the community or help the community, most welcome. Just come up and join us. So thank you very much, guys. Have a good weekend. Thank you, Numrah.
Have a good evening. You're welcome.
Thank you. Allah
Thank
Hafiz.
you. Allah Hafiz.